What you see here is basically the main part of our processing line. So we've got the blue tote over here. All the fish come in. We only put about 3,000 fish into a tote to bring them over. The fish come over anywhere between 150 to 250 gram fish. So it's a fairly small species, as you saw over there at the farm. Basically, it's a three-part process here. The first machine down here, where you see the fish sitting on the table, is our scaling machine. Basically just got a lot of small wheels inside there with some teeth. Takes all the scales off of them as the fish go through there. They go up this first incline belt, drop off here where Randy's working. That goes through the de-header machine. Basically just putting them in the slots. There's an angle blade in there that takes off the head, just the right angle to be able to give us the best yield that we can get out of it. They drop onto the next table there. The machine that you see there is probably our most complicated machine as far as getting everything adjusted to get the most meat off of the fish that we can. And that's the thing, is we've been doing this about 3 years now, and we're still learning on that. So we've gone from about a 35% yield when we started out with to about a 40% yield a year ago, and we're up to about 45 now, just in a couple small tweaks that we found. We kind of turned the guys loose and said, try everything you can and go from there. And what that has in it is just a couple of blades. As it goes through, feeds through here, there's a belt that holds the fish just at the right height and the right angle. It goes through and it takes the headless fish and drops it into 2 fillets down there at the trim table. We got between 6 and 8 trimmers normally that we have at the trim table, and they're basically just catching anything that the machine missed. With it being always a little bit of a variety in the size of the fish, so you set a machine up for one size of fish, so you get a little bit bigger fish, at least a few bones in it, a fin every now and again. So that's what these guys do, kind of continuously check each fillet, make sure we get everything off of there. Anybody have any questions while we're here?
What's the temperature in there that they're working in?
We keep it right around 60 degrees in there. So kind of try to get that balance between keeping the bacteria counts down and not so cold that their noses are dripping on the fish or anything. So do a daily cleaning every day. It's probably an hour and a half to 2 hour process at the end of the day, getting everything cleaned up. That's the one bad thing about the machines, is they're not user friendly as far as getting them clean. There's all kinds of little nooks and crannies we got to get into to make sure we get it out. That we do bacterial tests on a regular basis just to make sure our sanitation program's working like it should.
In a normal day, how many tons of fish are you processing?
Well, when we started out about 3 years ago, we struggled to get about 3,000 fish, and that was about a 12-hour day. The most we've done so far is between 10 and 12,000, and that was in a 10-hour day with the cleanup. We're thinking as we continue to learn about the machinery and everything, we're probably looking at about 15,000 fish in a 10-hour shift is what we're looking to be able to process. So still a little bit of that learning curve we're going through and getting better all the time. And right now we just run one shift, 4 days a week, run 4 10-hour days. We're looking to run basically 2 10-hour shifts through the week with a 4-hour cleanup crew come in overnight. And then also having a weekend shift, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday with a couple 12-hour shifts where they clean themselves. If you can see on the floor here, we've got the drains in between on either side of the machine. There's another set of drains on the far side of that. We've got room right there for a second line to go in. And then the wall you see there is actually a false wall. We can shove that back, and there's room for 3 more lines on the back side of that. So basically, instead of heating and cooling the whole building all year round, we cut it off, but still put everything in there to be able to do 3 more lines. So we've got enough room for 5 lines, as well as the area for our IQF machine and everything like that.
I wanted to ask you, said you wait 24 hours to let the fish go through rigor.
Right.
What if you did them right away?
If we did them right away, it would still work. You just don't get the yield out of them. As they go through rigor, they kind of curl a little bit. So they don't go flat through the machines, and they sit at an angle going through the de-header and the fillet machine. So you just lose a lot more meat on it that way.
But couldn't you do it if you did it right away before they go through rigor?
Yeah, we sure could.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just a timing thing.
Right.
Could you put a chill on them to keep them stable in the machine then?
Can we put a what on them?
Put a chill on them.
You know, I don't know. We haven't really talked about that, to be honest with you.
But you know,
But we got to come over in ice water, so I mean, they would already be chilled to a certain degree, even right after harvest. But
and you look at some of our customers in Chicago and want fresh product, and they came here and seen this, and they said even with that fish sitting on ice for 12 hours, it's fresher than anything they can get off a boat. It's going to sit on that boat for 2 days before it even makes it to land, or a whole day on the boat, and then it may sit in the house there for a day. So he was impressed by how quickly we could take a fish from a live fish. 12 hours later, we'd be cutting that fish and it'd be in the freezer. So, and I think that's an advantage to lock that freshness in as they move through that IQF.